Hey, hockey friends and families, got exciting news from our title sponsor, NHL Sensorina. Most of you have asked us all the time, is it just for goalies? Can skaters use it? Well, they've just made a revolutionary new update called Dangle Pro. It's the world's first mixed reality stick handling trainer. Now, you've all seen that video of someone with them throwing a lot of different things, pucks, gloves, everything at them on the ice. NHL Sensorina has found a way using the Meta Quest to do this in mixed reality. So you can dangle through live 3D obstacles that appear right in front of you, earning points and developing better stick handling skills in the process. It is so much fun. When I tried it, I was blown away by how fun it was, but also it's going to help your kids build faster hands and good habits. Like picking your head up while stick handling with the puck, something we talk about all the time. This thing is only available inside NHL Sense Arena, and they're giving, again, $25 off an annual subscription. They're very gracious with us. When you use the code OKPH at checkout, you can check that out at sensorina.com/OKPH. Again, sensorina.com/OKPH. And give your young hockey player that increased hockey IQ, gets more confidence, faster hands. But this new module called Dangle Pro, they've really outdone themselves with this. Again, NHL Sense Arena is the only VR hockey training platform officially licensed by the NHL. It's a proud partner of USA Hockey and the OMHA. And it's got hundreds of drills on here for goaltenders, for players. And again, just 10 to 20 minutes a day, a few times a week, can really sharpen your kids' skill set. Trust me, it's a far better use of screen time than scrolling on YouTube or just playing regular video games. Again, sensorina.com/OKPH, sensorina.com/OKPH, sensorina.com/OKPH. Get your $25 off. Check out Dangle Pro. And now, check out this episode. Hello, hockey skaters and goalies around the world. Welcome back to another edition of the Ride to the Rink. I don't know where you're heading today. Probably in the car with your parents going to practice or something. But I got two great people here with me. Nick and Hayley joining us to talk about a couple quick stories in the game surrounding mentorship and mindset. And I'm going to start with Hayley today. Hayley, who plays in the PWHL. She's an Olympian, for those of you who don't know. Told us a great story on our big episode this week about being a youth hockey player. And there was a point in her youth career where she wasn't having fun anymore, and she got aware of that and made a decision. Hayley, why don't you walk us through that story real quick?
Yeah, so I was playing on an all-boys team. My dad was coaching, and it was towards the end. I was probably like 11 or 12 roughly, and I was in the locker room by myself, only seeing them on the ice. Felt pretty isolated from the team, I would say, and I was just dreading going to the rink. I was dreading having games, going to practice. Felt like I wasn't really having any sort of connection with any of my teammates. And I remember telling my parents that I just wasn't really having fun anymore. And I'm almost positive I initiated the conversation and was like, I think I'm ready to be on a girls' team so I can have friends that are like me and be able to be in the locker room and connect with them. And so I think that was super important for me to have ownership over that and to be aware that I wasn't having fun anymore and to be able to communicate that with my parents.
Yeah, and kids listening, the key here is the awareness, right? Because I know there's some of you out there, you all love the game, right? We all love the game. Right? That's the common thing. If you're listening to the show, kids, you love the game. But sometimes you might not be aware of, maybe I'm not where I want to be right now emotionally or in a mindset way of I'm not really having fun with this group. Kids, it's okay to have those conversations with your parents. Right now, I would not go up to your parents and say, I don't like it, I want to quit. That's not what we're saying. Okay, I think what we're saying here is I don't feel right, and I want to explore why this doesn't feel right to me right now. I'm not connecting with my teammates. And like Hayley did that, and again, made a decision, right, to join an all-girls team. It was the right decision, obviously. She's co-host on our show, again, Olympian, professional hockey player. But kids, don't let those feelings linger for too long, okay? Because I'll tell you right now that kids, we've talked about it on the show many times about burnout. It can get to a point where you won't want to play. And none of us here want that to happen, right? Hockey has to be fun, most of the time, or else you're going to run into a problem. I want to turn it to Nick, who's with us here too, because Nick had a great point about points, right? Stats,
yes,
statistics, the internet, hockey DB, elite prospects. How many goals did you get? Where are you going? What's your recruiting? Where's your link? Like, my goodness, kids, you've got so much access to stats, and it can be a problem. So, Nick, why don't you dive into stats and points? And some thoughts about that.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, this takes us honestly right back to a conversation that Hayley and I were having, honestly, in preparation for getting ready to go to the World Championships. So right before that little break, she had about a week, and that was also when we had another community call with our mentorship group, and so we were talking about the points. And one thing that when I listened to her talk, the way that she kept mentioning points, the entirety of her time out on the ice was solely around trying, and I'm using that word very intentionally, trying to get a point.
Mm-hmm.
And when I realized that every frame of reference, every thought the brain had when it was on the ice was, if I don't score or get a point, then I'm falling behind or failing. I realized that, well, now every time she goes out there, it's just going to, that now she's in a cycle that can only continue. So we shifted from, instead of the goal is to get a point a game, as an example, we use that as an example. Instead of the goal being to get a point a game, we switched it very simply. The goal is now to put yourself in a position for a point a game to happen.
Right.
And when we shifted that mindset, focus from points to doing whatever you need to put yourself in the positions to allow for that to happen, whether that's you shooting and scoring, shooting and then you get a teammate rebound, you make a nice pass backside to your team, whatever that is, however it happens, right? You're just focused on that. Because then kind of like what we were talking about, when you take the focus off that one thing, you're like, hey, as you mentioned in the podcast, like just focus today on being a great teammate.
Right.
You know, kind of the same thing, you know, being a great teammate for yourself, your line mates, and the group that you're out there with on the ice at that time, and obviously for the whole team. And Hayley, how did that shift change things for you?
It was massive. I think I was able to just kind of focus on the little things that I do well. And in the first World Championship game, I got 2 goals in my first 2 shifts, so it was a pretty dramatic shift for sure, and I also just felt a lot more free out there. I just felt more me, and it was incredible. The weight was lifted for sure.
Well,
Quick
I love
question.
saying this too, kids. You can find those highlights online just by searching.
Yeah.
You know, I'll say this too, to kind of bring the point home, guys, is that, you know, I love it, the small shift of changing the win, right?
Mhm.
You know, kids, I always say this to you kids, there's really only 3 things in your life you control. It's your effort, your mindset, and your diet, both food and knowledge. So when you put all of your cookies into a basket that is points or shutouts or
Mhm.
whatever it is, there's so much you don't control.
Mhm.
Haley, you could have the greatest game ever, and the puck just might not go in the net. I mean, it's just the truth of it, right? So we're not saying that scoring's not important, kids. Don't get me wrong; it's part of the game. But change the win, change how you're focusing. And what's funny is, as you both just said, Haley, when you got back to those 3 things, the mindset, the effort, the diet, the points just showed up out of nowhere. But we said it too. When you go back to being a great teammate, and that aura, kids, you love that word now, aura.
Yeah.
Right? It shows up. But if you're focused on something, man, there's a lot of pressure that doesn't need to be there, right? Change the win.
Yeah.
Love that.
Haley, was there any thought? Did you have any thoughts around having to make a point, shoot, or score that game? Like I
No.
had the perfect seat to see and observe her reaction, and the way she reacted to scoring told me that there was nothing in her mind focused on scoring, because she was surprised. It was like, whoa, I did that. And that was also telling me she was no longer in her head. She was present in the moment. There was no thinking. She was just doing. She was out there flowing.
Well, I love that you said be present, because that's the other part of the things you can control. I always say, we'll close it out on this, that you can reflect on your past, look to your future, but you have to live in the present moment, because that's the only reality. Great episode of the Ride to the Rink. Kids, you got some bonus time here today, and I love that. Parents listening, thanks for letting your kids listen. For Hayley and Nick, I'm Lee. Remember, kids, wherever you're at on your hockey journey, we believe in you. You should too. Have fun, skate hard, and we'll see you on the next ride of the rink. Take care, everybody. We hope you enjoyed this edition of Our Kids Play Hockey. Make sure to like and subscribe right now if you found value wherever you're listening, whether it's a podcast network, a social media network, or our website, ourkidsplayhockey.com. Also, make sure to check out our children's book, When Hockey Stops, at whenhockeystops.com. It's a book that helps children deal with adversity in the game and in life. We're very proud of it. But thanks so much for listening to this edition of Our Kids Play Hockey, and we'll see you on the next episode.